Hi everyone, BC Richfield here on behalf of BrightFunded. Let's take a look at the week ahead. Okay, so let's take a look at our red folder news, and we can see heading off today we've had Germany preliminary CPI month on month and US ISM manufacturing PMI as well. Now I keep a close look on the New York, so the US markets, okay, but we need to be aware on Tuesday we've got Fed Chair Powell speaking, which can obviously inject some volatility into the markets. We also have job openings as well. Now on Wednesday we have ADP non-farm employment changes, unemployment claims and ISM services PMI, concluding with FOMC meeting minutes. Again, can be high impact there. Now, through on to Thursday, we don't have anything affecting the US markets, and we're through on to Friday, where we have average hourly earnings month on month, non-farm employment change, and employment rate. But please do be aware, especially for you FX traders out there, that we have news affecting the euro, obviously the dollar, we have CHF, and we're also down with CAD as well. Okay, so we're going to start with Bitcoin here on the weekly. Now, I've added the weekly range to the chart here, taken from range high up here to low, which we'll look at a little bit closer on the daily as well. Now, as it stands at the moment, as we said last week, we were looking to see if this was going to hold here, which was this fair value gap. We were looking for this to provide support here, week commencing 17th of June. We said if we don't get that there, then, if we invert this space, then we're going to look for further downside. And obviously range lows came into play here. And also we have the swing low, which is sat down here. Now the swing low here is sat down at 56,697. Now, not saying that we are going to go down that low, but two areas that I want to be aware of if we fail to close above this gap here is last week's low, which is at 58,420, and then the aforementioned swing low there. However, I do think that a sign of strength here, if we come back up, bearing in mind we are at range lows here, if this is a deviation, we've now climbed back inside, we could see price move back here towards the midline at 67,284.21. Now we're going to get a little bit more granularity on this by moving to the daily. Now, something that I'm aware of here on the daily, again, we can see this kind of nice deviation here at the weekly range level, is that we've got two fair value gaps. We've got one here, okay, and I'm just going to draw in the upper one here so that we can take a look at this as well. Now, seeing price close above this would give me a lot more confidence that we were going to move higher back towards the mid-range here. And we have this swing high here as well, 66,455, which would be our upside target. If we do, however, leave range low here, then I think we're going to be looking towards those downside targets, as we mentioned on the weekly. So now looking across Ethereum, and this is such a nice clean chart here. So all I've done is added a Fibonacci from this impulse move low to the high here. We have this big fair value gap here, price was drawing down into. And it's just really interesting to me how we've really held the equilibrium of this, the 0.5 level, okay, just a halfway of this range. So while we've held that, we've seen a nice long wick to the downside, clearing out liquidity below the prior week's low, and we're still holding the gap. So while we do that, then, this is showing signs of strength here. So as we look on the daily, and we want something to back that up with, I have a really clear and simple plan looking forward. Well, if price is going to reject, I would expect price to reject at this gap here. We've already rebalanced it, so showing strength that it's coming back into it here. Like I said, the real long downside with you saw purging here shows that, buyers were really stepping in at that point. Yes, people taking profit as well, but closing above here on a daily scale, and then we look to the swing highs here, and ultimately our upside target up here is 3,981. So moving across onto FX, we're going to take a look at EURUSD now. So those of you that remember from previous analysis, we were looking for this area to hold. This was our inversion gap, bearish gap, closed above, treating as support here, support here, support here. Now, by saying support, I want to see the bodies hold this level. So wicking down is fine. Now, the body of this close did hold it, but we gapped. So you can check back on the previous record. I said if we come and close back within here, then the expectation is for more upside. All right, so price showing any kind of strength here, happy to long this. We had this imbalance here, which we've drawn up to, and is currently capping price action. At the moment, it's a little bit unclear. Would like to see a bit more conviction here, but we could be looking, right, at setting a higher high. This confirmed as the higher low. So is the dollar now getting ready to move further forward? As we look here on the daily, however, we can see that we've kind of taken out a recent swing high. and price is struggling to kind of close over that at the moment. Now, I wouldn't really want to see price to come and close back within this area. We can see we've got the consolidation here. So I think more signs of weakness here. We've taken liquidity above here. But if price closes as it is now, we can look at the inefficiency left between these two candles on the daily, see if tomorrow's daily candle has a bullish reaction here. Should it not, we get that close below it, then I think we're probably looking further down towards these lows here. And I would be favouring this one as a starting point, which is at 1.0660. So moving on to USDJPY, this has worked out really well. Okay, it's been one of our best performers because we were focusing on the inside bar pattern. That's set by the mother bar here, which is the larger of the two candle pattern. You need a large candle like this. The secondary candle here has to close within its range, meaning it can't go above its high or below its low. Now, as we've done this, we've created our mother bar, and this is the inside bar. These are both ranges. So when we got the strong close above this here and retested it as support, we were saying if we close back within here, expectation is to head for the inside bar low, the IBL. But as long as we hold above this, then we're looking for liquidity above the mother bar high. Now we've had this kind of strong close above here, nice big body close. You know, if we'd seen price wick up here and come back down, the reverse of this basically, and I would have expected a little bit of a correction lower down, first of all to this gap, but ultimately towards the inside bar high. The fact that we've shown a lot of strength here, you know, is a positive sign. We've got a key upside target here of 164,500, and on a weekly scale, that's the next big target to the upside. So what can we do with that information here on a daily? Well, refining this down by looking for the last point of delivery, which we had here. So we had this bullish gap here that was set. Price literally just ticked into this here before having a nice bullish reaction. As long as we hold this, and obviously the mother bar high, I'm happy to look for more upside here, again to the high time frame targets that we mentioned before. Close below this, you know, and we've got inefficiencies, and obviously the swing low down here, which is also confluent with our inside bar high. So, you know, if we do see the close below here, we could see a bigger correction deeper down. Now we're going to move across and take a look at gold. So gold hasn't really been doing much the last few weeks. We saw the consolidation, and this week obviously a little bit too early to tell at the moment. However, this week did run liquidity below the prior week's low. So odds are price, if it is moving up, you know, is first of all going to target the prior week's high, which we're very, very close to here, which is at 2,339.69. And then from there, obviously any sign of strength, we've got these upside targets marked out above us. We have got equal lows below, and we do have this swing low sat within a fair value gap, which are offering really tempting liquidity targets. So see if we can get a bit more clarity down here on the daily. So as we see here on the daily chart, what's the last real kind of thing that we've done here? Well, price swept this low here on the daily, and then we've seen a little bullish reaction here. However, as we've said, you know, we have got these kind of higher time frame levels here. This is the prior week's high. So I want to see how price reacts in here. I think if we wick up here and get back below, I would favour kind of heading towards these equal lows down here and then the swing low. However, a sign of strength above here, a good solid daily close above. And I think we start to take liquidity, first of all, from here, the level of 2,368.69, and then those upside targets as well. So we're going to finish on the NASDAQ now, look at our indices. Now, this again has been a nice clean chart. Obviously, this thing has been just ripping all-time high, all-time high. So when you're seeing this kind of strength in the market, very, very hard to fade it. Now, what we can see is we had this expansion higher, we left this gap. We just tickled into this gap, and then the expectation is for price to have a stronger move. Now, we obviously saw a lot of consolidation in the last couple of weeks, which is normal after you have these kind of large expansions. So for me, we're going to kind of look to this for some main side targets. We've got the order block down here, for example. If we do close below this, this would be the area we'd look for support. In terms of downside liquidity targets, the swing low down here is at 18,241.25. Upside targets, we do have the prior week's high, which is sat here. Prior week's high is at 20,273, providing a key liquidity pool. Last week's low, which is sat down here at 19,726, is another level I'll be looking at as well. And we have the swing high, which was confirmed on the close of last week's candle, which is at 20,371. Now, on the daily, taking that into consideration, we can see we've got our targets laid out here. Now, something we have here, obviously, we have this big imbalance through here, kind of lines up with our weekly gap as well. So with this kind of liquidity here, also sat down as equal lows on the daily, I could definitely see us kind of drawing down, purging out this. And again, the reaction that we have at the low down here will give us an indication of whether price has got the strength to recover and we make a move on the highs here, or if price needs to correct a little bit lower. We have these inefficiencies sat down here, these gaps. And obviously, like we said before, our weekly order block sat down here, this fair value gap here as well. So at the moment, waiting to see how kind of the range plays out for the week. But I think if we come down, sweep this level here, we could see a recovery, a strong close below. And I'm going to favour some more downside. So that concludes our weekly outlook. Remember to keep an eye on the red folder news. We look forward to seeing you trading over with us soon at BrightFunded.